Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the Hot Seat. It's a program for the people, and of course, it's produced by the National Alliance. I have today with me no other than Mr. Christophe Emmanuel. He is number 4 on the National Alliance slate. Christopher, welcome inside the Hot Seat.
Joanne, thank you very much. I'm actually happy to be in the Hot Seat. It seems to be the thing I've been doing my 18 months thus far in Parliament, being in the Hot Seat. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to interview you. I think it's the first time I'll be interviewing you. So many times we've worked together.
This is it.
At the radio station,
right.
But never really had the opportunity to ask you some questions.
That's true. Well, you want to ask me questions?
Well, I mean, you do the job anyway, and everybody who interviews you, they do a very good job in bringing out whatever Chris needs to air, whatever grievances.
I'm going to let you know from now. I'm going to let everyone know I'm not crying. I'm not going to do that.
You're not going to cry?
No, I'm
You
not.
promise me?
I promise I'm not going to do that.
Okay, well, Chris, we have a lot of voters who would be going to the polls for the first time on September 26th. So still, I would have to ask, Christophe Emmanuel is a household name in politics now, but for some of those people who probably don't know who is Christophe Emmanuel, let us know who you are.
Well, as much as it's a household name, Joanne, I still get the occasional people would walk up and say, I just heard the voice, but are you Christophe Emmanuel? I said, yes, I am Christophe Emmanuel. Who am I? I tell people many times, and it's unfortunate that I have to use that angle just to elaborate and get people to get an idea of who I am. But I would go as far as to say, I'm the member of Parliament who is consistent and true with the things he says he's going to do and the things he wants to see happen. Humble beginning. I'm actually standing on the grounds that was built by the forefathers of the National Alliance, of the SPM, of the SPA, because my mother also took this path. She also walked this path. Unfortunately and tragically, she died in a car accident with her sister. So I always have to use that angle so people can get a grip of who I am. I came back to St. Martin from studying in 2002, 2003. And I tell people, this is not my first, second, or third election. This is my 7th election that I'm running. Because before I was with the PPA.
Yes.
And then they folded that and they threw it away. And given the opportunity to come back home, and when I say come back home to the party where I had to be in the first place. I did pretty well the first time because it was 103 votes. And I remember running to, I'll call his name. I remember running to one day and I said, boy, I crack it. 103 votes.
Once you get over the 100 mark.
Once he got over the 100 mark, and I told him, I said, I'll be a member of Parliament next election. And here I am today.
How has your stint been for the last, 18 months? Is it?
Very challenging and interesting as that, because I think we still have a serious job to do in terms of explaining to the general public, explaining to the people of St. Martin the difference. What is Parliament? What is Parliament all about? What do you do in Parliament? And what is government all about in terms of the executive branch of government, where the ministers sit? Because you still get the sort of old school or the old teaching where one think the members of Parliament are the ones who control this portfolio, who do this and who do that. But it's part of our culture.
Right.
Because we're the ones that you see on the television. We're the ones that you hear on the radio. You can actually follow us, but you don't see that with the ministers. So I think in that aspect, it's challenging to explain to people that Christophe Emmanuel cannot give you a taxi permit. Christophe Emmanuel cannot give you a vending permit. Christophe Emmanuel cannot give you a bus permit. However, Christophe Emmanuel can make sure that the minister do their jobs. Because when they come to Parliament, I'm going to hold up that request and say, what happened to Mr. John James who applied for that permit and it wasn't granted? Why are you not doing your work? And whether it's my government or not, whether it's my minister or not, and I say it all the time, who like it, who don't like it, don't like it. I don't work for the government, Joanne. I work for the people of St. Martin.
You've been known to be Mr. Loudmouth, Mr. Big Mouth.
I'll take it.
Have your ministers been listening to Christopher?
I think they have. I think they have been listening to Christophe Emmanuel, because you see the difference. Now, let me give you a perfect example. I remember I came out very hard on my Prime Minister and the Minister of Rummy concerning the Waymont Hill Road. And I said, listen, it's good to talk, but at some point in time, we had enough talk and talk and talk. Put your mouth where your money is. Stop talking. I want action. I want the Prime Minister and the Minister of Rummy to pave and look at Waymont Hill Road. It's being done today. And all those who want to take credit, I remember them saying, it's a private road. You can't pave it, you can't touch it. And I said, it may be a private road, but private citizens don't live there. But today it's getting done.
So Christophe Emmanuel has to get the credit for the paving of Waymont Hill Road?
No. It's the residents of Waymont Hill Road deserve the credit, because they have been behind government for a number of years to get it done. Christophe Emmanuel was a facilitator to make sure that their voices, their concerns were heard, so that it can be done. I'm not taking the credit for it.
So the people of Waymont Hill should be a little more happy now, right?
I think they will be. Because it's well deserved. They deserve it. It's well deserved.
Chris, there are many things that you talked about.
Right.
I mean, you come forward with food prices, a lot of things. Are you satisfied thus far with...
No, I'm sorry to cut you short.
I'm not going to say you didn't wait for me to...
I'm sorry to cut you short, but no, I'm not satisfied.
You're not satisfied.
Because I know where you're going. Where you're going with it. Let me tell you something, Joanne. 18 months as a member of Parliament. And out of those 18 months, I'm supporting a government that is there for 9 months. You know what? Let me sort of switch it a little bit, Joanne. And let me say to the people of, what is it you want? What is it you want? Because nothing in this country will be solved if the government is not stable.
Right.
You need us. Listen, the government building is beautiful. And after 8 years, it's going to get done. Front Street will get done. Back Street will get done. Camera projects will get done. But those things will get done because there's contracts that are signed. So whether we are in or not, it will get done because we have accomplished. But you see that 6 months contract? You see that minimum wage?
Yes.
You see that old age pension?
Right.
You see that food prices? You see that health care? Those things will not get done if you don't have a stable government. Now, as much as I would say that this coalition government is working, you need to give one party, one government, majority of seats to govern. Why? Simple. Joanne, I could sign a contract with ABC company to get the government done. It is sealed, it is done. So if any other government comes in and want to change it, they have a court case on their hand. Because we have contracts done.
Right.
But when we put that minimum wage increase and the abuse of the 6 months contract that is sitting on the minister's desk today, that was done by the National Alliance, it is not tackled because every minister that comes in have a different idea, have a different approach, have a different plan. You see? So every time government fall and comes back and fall and comes back, it changes over and over. So that 6 months contract is going to continue sitting there because every minister that comes has a different idea.
But Chris, where do we go from here?
A stable government.
How do we get a stable government?
The people of St. Martin had to say, this is what I want. And when I stack the list up, when I stack it up, Okay? You want to tell me, are you telling me that Prime Minister William Marlin is not doing a good job? You want to tell me that Minister Sylvia Jacobs is not doing a good job? You want to tell me that Minister Lee and all the rest of them are not doing a good job? But now imagine this. If you believe they are doing a good job, imagine Minister Emmanuel doing a job, Minister Samuel doing a job, Minister Peterson doing a job. Imagine these guys on the National Alliance list, all 8 seats doing the same job. If you got good now, you're going to get better then. Because you have one government, one party doing the work.
So you have to talk to the people and make sure that they come out and support the National Alliance to get the mandate.
I have been doing this because I look at my country. I live in the reward area. I live in the reward area, and I say this all the time, Joanne. We still got children in this country going to school hungry, you know.
Of course.
They're going to school hungry. So where's our conscience?
But how do we deal with this, Chris?
A stable government. A stable government. One government. 4 years.
Have you run the figures on poverty on this island?
It's alarming. It's alarming. I spoke about it in Parliament. The youth unemployment is 22%.
22%.
22% amongst the youth in St. Martin. 22%.
You have a plan how you can tackle this if once re-elected?
You know, I always give this example. There's this young fella, and never look at people and figure that they don't know what they want, or judge them by their appearance and just cast them to the side and say, look how he look. He can't be important, or he doesn't amount to nothing. Don't you ever dare do that. Because that cornerstone that you cast aside is what you're going to need to put at the head. Is what you're going to need to put at the head. And I always take this example from the young man Sawyer. Sawyer sells juices. And he would come down by the school, and 5-10 minutes, all his juice is gone. And I will always ask him, but why you don't make more? Chris, I don't have the means. Chris, I don't have the money. I can't get a loan. I don't have this. Christophe Emmanuel presented the development bank here in St. Martin.
So
presented the development bank here in St. Martin.
That's one of your achievements for sure.
I would call it the most achieved motion, because the SAID took it and they're rendering our advice on it as we speak. But not only that, Joanne, you know what it is? Now that young person, that single mother, that individual in the bank, that one working in the casino, who have an idea, who want to start a business, who need help, who want to take care of themselves, can go to an establishment, not only get funds for it, but get guidance.
Right.
Get guidance. Do you know how many parents wake up in the morning and don't see their children? Because they're coming home 4 o'clock from a casino.
They have 2 and 3 jobs.
2 and 3 jobs. But guess what? That mother, that dad, they're ace at baking cakes.
Right.
You can't touch them with a Mobby, Johnny cakes, but they don't have the means.
Yes. They need support
to establish that small business that can take care of themselves. Who is bringing it forward? I did the research. I traveled to Curacao. I spoke to Copadeco, and I brought it back to St. Martin. This is not just about a project. This is something you can take to the bank. This is something that you can depend on. This is something that's going to uplift you.
And it must be highlighted, because somehow, for some reason, some people tend to forget. So you need to highlight all the time, remind them.
Politicians want everybody to like them. Right. I don't.
You don't care.
You don't have to like me. But I know for sure you're going to say, thanks to Chris.
Right, because of
today,
Chris.
I have my own business. Because now I can go and get funding without the collateral, without the large interest rate, without all these qualifications that I need. And today, I'm selling my natural juices. Today, I can put food on the table. And let me say this too, because I'm going to brag about it over and over and over and over and over. And when our public meetings start, you're going to see me doing it also.
I hope you don't go on stage and cry.
Well, I say I'm crying here, but the stage is a different thing.
You don't cry on stage.
Joanne, in 2014, cooking gas in this country for a 20-pound cylinder was $27, you know. Was $27. When we got in government, I made it a business to the government. Listen, people got to eat. That bottle of gas is half the price today, you know. $13, $13.25. Okay, $12.50. You have places advertising it right now, white oil cooking gas. I always can't remember the name of it.
St. Martin White Oil Services.
St. Martin White Oil Services. The 100-pound cylinder for $60.
Yeah.
The 100-pound cylinder.
That used to be what?
That used to be $100 and something.
Yeah.
Plus delivery.
What a decrease.
Plus delivery.
You think the business...
People have to go outside in the backyard and put sticks to boil water.
You think the businessmen are feeling it?
Then leave them feel it. But the St. Martiners feel good.
Good.
The consumers feel good. I love business. I agree with business. But in some point in time, you must take a stand and say, this is for St. Martin people. They got to eat.
Well, that's why we put you there, to fight for our cause. And if you don't do the job, then we get rid of you. So you have to continue working. What are some of the other motions that you've passed?
You know, let me tell you something that I keep talking about over and over and over, right? Joanne, children may go to school hungry in this country, but they shouldn't leave the school hungry. They shouldn't leave it hungry. And I am proud of my Minister of Education. I'm proud of her because it's one of the biggest portfolios that carries the largest budget. But we need to establish a canteen system so that children can get something to eat in the morning in the school that they're attending.
A hungry child can't function.
A hungry child cannot function, cannot learn. It is a sin. It is a sin that we have children in this country.
You think some parents could abuse that system that they probably can't afford, but they're looking for government? You know, there are some people like that.
Let me tell you this. Whenever you do something for good, somebody going to find something to make it bad. But at the end of the day, you must have that conscience inside of you. Something should make you say, sorry, nah man, we got to do better than this. We got to do better than this. Whether they abuse it or not, the outcome is the child is getting something to eat. The child can depend on the school system that they're in to get something to eat. Let's talk about the 6 months contract.
Okay.
Because it is big and it is in the air. But why do we have a 6 months contract, Joanne? We have a 6 months contract because we have a seasonal economy where you have the season high and you have the season low. We are in the low season right now, or if you want to say the slow season right now. That's what we are in. So we have a 6 months contract. What we don't have is the protection of those 6 months contract workers. Let me give you an example. I was speaking to a friend of mine and I saw her and I said, but how come you're not working today? She said the business laid me off. She was working at an aggregate company that sells lumber and 2x4 and electrical stuff and things like that. And I said, but why did they lay you off? She said they told her it is a slow season. And I was like, slow season? But they don't depend on tourists.
Exactly.
For their business.
They're into construction.
They're into construction.
Yeah.
And everybody's building, the material is flying here and there, household stuff. That's abuse of the 6 months contract. The National Alliance tabled a motion, presented it, but it's sitting on the minister's desk.
Who's responsible for that, Chris?
This is when you have governments come in
and going.
Come in and going. Now, you look at the list of the National Alliance and stack them up. Stack them up. You want to tell me that Member of Parliament George Pantaflet wouldn't make the ideal Minister of Labour? You stack it up. Look at him.
You may think so, but what the people out there are thinking?
But look at it. Look at it, and that's why I had to trade back at the people and ask you, what do you want? You can't want to have a stable government, stability over and over and over and over, but you're swinging the votes all over the place. It will not work.
But Chris, with
it cannot work.
With the makeup, you don't see a next coalition coming?
Coalition coming where? National Alliance winning this election, and we winning this election outright.
Outright. Because
the people of St. Martin had enough.
So that's the mandate.
That's the mandate. We want 8 seats. We need 8 seats for you. For you. Because guess what? Then we have no excuse. Then we have no excuse.
Give you the full 4.
Full 4. 8 seats. 9 seats.
10 seats.
10 seats, because then we can affect change with the Constitution.
The leader asked for 10. I think 10.
Because the leader is saying, listen, there are things that we need a 2/3 majority in Parliament. We need a 2/3 majority. Ship jumping. We need a 2/3 majority. You can't want things to be good, but yet you're voting in the manner where this one got 4 seats, this one got 2, and then the coalition got to come together. And then I ain't happy because you ain't make me minister, or I ain't get this contract, or I ain't get this. It's time for it to stop.
All this bickering takes place, Chris? but you have to tell the people so the people would make that conscious decision on September 26th.
Listen, this is an election, and I'm not mincing my words and trying to be nice. Because I'm wearing the suit, I'm here with Joanne, the young lady put on makeup on me, I'm in front of the camera, and I have to look good. No. No. Yes, we are working good, but there are many things we have our fights about. Many things. But you see, you want this revolving door. You want us to come and pretend to be nice. I have no time for that. I have no time for that. When I look at the seniors, and they can't get that 500 gilda extra on their pension. I see it every day. They complain every day. So, people who's traveling because of medical problems, and they have to go through SZV. And they have to travel on a Sunday, but SZV call them on a Saturday morning, tell them tomorrow they're leaving. Those things are wrong. Customer service, tell them workers, GEBE. But what happened? Because this member of parliament controlled this ministry. And this member of parliament controlled that one. And this minister who was there give this one land. But how do you want those things to stop?
By having a stable government.
By having a stable government. You have to hold the government accountable. You.
Let me ask you something.
You have to hold the government accountable.
If you need to increase old age pension, where you think you're going to get funds from to do such?
Listen, I told people this. Let's look at the reality. And let's say it as it is. Your school fee is 1 fee per year. 1 fee per year. Listen, I could put that, and I could see to it, and I can argue with the minister that extra 500 guilders or 1,000 guilders could go on the old age pension, you know. I agree with a lot of things that you're saying. But do you want to increase in your GEBE bill? Because I can say, listen, I'm going to make sure the so-called school fee don't exist anymore. You don't have to touch it no more. I'm going to see to it and fight that every senior, every pensioner get an extra 500 guilder. I'm going to see to it. I'm going to argue with the minister. I'm going to make noise. I'm going to bang my hand on the desk to make sure it gets done. Legislation I'm going to present. But then let me ask you this. Do you want the extra 25 guilder on your GEBE bill? Because if you want to put money here, you have to take it from somewhere. You have to take it from somewhere. And if we don't clean up house, because we have 30% tax compliance, that means 70% of businesses are not paying taxes. But when you have the situation that we are in, where government come and go, and you don't have time to tackle an issue, because the moment you start to tackle the issue, the government falls.
Yes, that's
Former minister from the National Alliance to it. He said, listen, I'm going to wipe out taxes from 2006. 2006 started the work. And when the law had to go in place, what happened? Government fell. What do you want, St. Martin?
Talk to them.
What do you want? How do you want it? How do you want it? It is good. It is good for me to come here and just talk and tell you I'm going to do this and tell you, give you fluff and all the nice things in the sky. But the reality is, you're in the kitchen. So you feeling the heat. You feeling it. So again, what do you want? Look at what we have done. I love the slogan. We have accomplished. We have accomplished.
Chris.
I just pass the government building every day for spite. For spite I just pass it. Just to brag. Just to take a picture. Because it was sitting as a pigeon coop for 8 years. And I'm going to continue talking about it. As a matter of fact, Joanne, I'm sorry. I'm sorry with the questions you want to ask. My apologies if I want to take it on me, fine. Joanne, people in South Ward, St. Peter's, Ebenezer, how many times they dug up that road and put in pipes for sewage and nothing is hooked up? All those homes in St. Peter's, nothing is hooked up. The last pipe stopped by the bridge. This government is fixing it. Front Street is in the state that it's in. Because this government say, I am not just going to pick up the road and put it back down, but the sewage pipes are not in. You know what you call that? When he did it, fooling the people. You fooling the people.
But they said if elected again, give them 6 months and everything would be done.
Well, let me tell you this, because I've said it on my podium. I've said it when we launched, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. That member of parliament, Theo Heiliger, leader of the UPP party, was elected in 1993 in this country. 1993. More than 20 years. He never one day, never in those 20 years built one school. So he don't care about education for children. Never built one school. Never built one social home. Not one. So he don't care how people live in this country. He never talk about a 6 months contract. Not one. He never talk about a 6 months contract. So he don't care what kind of job you got.
He never talk.
Look, Joanne, stop it.
He built a causeway for us.
You can eat concrete?
No, but we have beautification.
You can eat lights?
We have beautification.
Well, you go and eat beautification. But I know with cooking gas you could eat though. No, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of just being nice and making people feel as if this is how the niceness got to be, Joanne. This is how the niceness got to be. And then you're telling me, in 20 years, you haven't gotten none of those things on the old age pension, the minimum wage, the 6 months contract, the housing for the people, the schools for people. You never done it in 20 years. You haven't done it in 20 years. But now you are telling me and the people of St. Martin that once you're elected in 6 months, you're going to fix the dump and the hospital. Then you really think that the people of St. Martin is a bunch of monkeys that you can tell them what they want and they're just going to follow. That time is over. You ain't going to work. September 26th, we're going to show you how we have accomplished.
Chris.
Let me fix my shirt.
Okay, because the seat really
No, yeah, it's a hot seat for true. Really I'm upset, Joanne. When I hear those sort of things, I am upset. The hospital bid that they had was $100 million. That's the price tag for everything on St. Martin.
100 million.
100 million. This government came and decided to do a proper vetting. You know how much it is now? Who awarded the contract? You know how much is it? Half the price of it.
So where the other half was
going? Who was it going to? But when you say those kind of things, it's not me who said, the judges who said How come he's not in my courtroom for vote buy-in? How come he's not here? I didn't say it. But everybody jumping up, oh, he's a vision, he's this and he's that. Vision where? Look at your country. And in 9 months, look what we have done. In 9 months,
Chris.
They had 10 seats.
Chris.
Joanne, they had 10 seats.
Chris.
And haven't done nothing in 1 year.
I have to check your pressure.
Yeah, okay.
It's getting high. Look, I didn't even walk with a napkin to this kind of mop up the face a bit because, come on.
No, but then you have to bring me here
no,
then.
take it easy, man. Take it easy.
No, but sometimes you just have to tell people as it is.
Go and spread it all over. We voting for Christophe. Tired people suffer. We voting for Christophe. Go and spread it all over. We voting for Christophe. Christophe Emmanuel. Tell him Chris. Tired of the turn and twist. Tell him Chris. You come to handle business. Tell him Chris. Poor people is your interest. Tell him Chris. We had enough of it. Talking about integrity, then you're talking about he. The man have a legacy for honesty. They offer him 1 mil to jumpy. Send them fellas up the lump. For him money does not come. This country always come in front. We voting for Christophe. Go and spread it all over. We voting for Christophe. Tired see people suffer. We voting for Christophe. Go and spread it all over. We voting for Christophe. Christophe Emmanuel. Tell him Chris. Tired of the turn and twist. Tell him Chris. You come to handle business.
I'm Christophe Emmanuel, your number 4 candidate on the National Alliance League. On September 26th, let this voice be your choice. Always consistent and true. Chris, for you.
Chris, before you go, 5 seconds, not even 10, 5 seconds. Tell the people why you need their support.
In 2014, I asked you, let me be your voice. Here I am in 2016. I am saying to you, the people of St. Martin, on September 26th, let this voice be your choice. I'm always consistent and true. Chris is for you, the people of St. Martin. That's it for me, Joanne.
Well, you've heard it from the horse's mouth. Candidate number 4 on the National Alliance slate. You've been listening and viewing the hot seat. Another guest. Stay tuned, we'll be back.